I'm Kat Ellinghouse and I'm a historian and an academic. In 2014, I received funding from the Australian Research Council to research and write a history of Aboriginal exemption policies in Australia. I've been working on this project for nearly 4 years now and I want to share what I've found. Exemption was a policy imposed by state governments on some Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people during the 20th century. It was enacted through a single clause in many of the so-called Protection Acts that allowed state governments to control the lives of Aboriginal people. Acts in New South Wales, Queensland, the Northern Territory, Western Australia and South Australia had these clauses. They allowed government administrators to declare individual Indigenous people who were judged to be worthy exempt from this legislation. This meant that these people were supposedly no longer under the control of the legislation, but it also often meant that they were not supposed to have contact with unexempt Aboriginal people anymore, even if they were related to them. Together with my research assistants, Dr. Leonie Stevens and Dr. Jay Earley, I've spent 4 years investigating the records left behind by these policies. Over the course of this research, we've found countless stories of the very different ways in which Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people experience the policy of exemption. Stories of families being broken up, stories of cultural loss, stories of activism, refusal and resistance, stories of people using exemption to live better lives, and stories of exempted people and their families being haunted by interfering government officials. Exemption was administered differently according to time and place, so there is no one story of how people lived with the policy. Exemption is a very important part of the history of assimilation policies imposed on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in this country. Aboriginalexemption.com.au has information about the history of exemption. It also offers a way for people to get in contact to ask if there might be information about family members in our files. And because the records and archives only tell part of the history of exemption, I'm also looking for people to tell me their stories. If you would be willing to speak with me about you, your family, or a family member's experience of exemption, I would love to talk to you. You can get in contact with me easily at aboriginalexemption.com.au.